Well, it has finally happened. It looks like the clowns have finally turned against us. But in all seriousness, when I was on Facebook and looking at my news feed and saw South Carolina, the last thing I expected when I put my cursor over the news story was that there would be clowns haunting the woods of South Carolina. I mean, how more fucking creepy does it get than that? Clowns. Clowns, which people already skeeved by to begin with, are now terrorizing the woods of South Carolina. The crazy thing about this story is I just found out about it today, and I've been researching, going over the news stories, going over the YouTube videos, but apparently this has been going on and off for a week straight. The main area where this is happening at is the Fleetwood Manor apartments in South Carolina. All the sightings have taken place in the woods behind the apartments, actually. We have had multiple people claim to have seen this.
It was like, it's a clown, it's a clown. So everybody was like, no, it's not, no, it's not. They went and got other kids and all of them come back. Then they come back crying. So we was like, all right, it must be something in the woods.
The woman we spoke to off camera says these kids aren't seeing things. She says she was walking back home when she spotted a clown in this area here, waving at her.
One of them has all white face with black stars on around his eyes, and then one of them has a clown costume on and has red hair.
Now, usually when I hear the words clowns in the woods, the first thing I think of is usually the worst case scenario, which would be the gathering of the juggalos or something like that. But in all seriousness, folks, people are already scared of clowns to begin with. Now, put yourself in their shoes. You have kids in the neighborhood, being kids, very young, seeing clowns in the woods. What reasonable adult would even believe that there are clowns in the woods? It's something straight out of Stephen King's It. And then a few hours later in the middle of the night, you walk up to your fridge to get some milk, to get a glass of water to drink, and you look out your window and you see a clown in the woods staring at you, waving at you. Now, you might think that's a scenario I just made up, but no, that legitimately happened. One of the eyewitnesses for this whole clown mess saw a clown at 3 in the morning, which, in my opinion, if it's one thing if it's a shitty prank or something they're trying to pull, but once you have somebody out there dressed like a clown in the woods at 3 in the morning shooting lasers with a laser pin, not actual lasers, at a house to get people's attention, then it becomes far too sinister.
Incident report shows that residents have heard chains banging on their doors, that the clowns have tried to lure children, and that they're running around the property, creating fear in these children's eyes.
So yeah, get this. Banging chains on people's doors at all hours of the night. That right there lets me know that this is no longer a prank, that this is something more serious. And as many sightings as they have had, there's not been that much video evidence, if any. There's a few pictures out there, and I added one right here by a man named Kevin Thaumann, who spotted this. He must live in the apartments over there. And there he goes. There's a crystal clear picture of one of these clowns, and it might be holding a chain. It's really hard to tell from the picture. It is kind of blurry, but that's just creepy as shit right there.
Reasons I'm over here to make sure we get a full understanding of what is law enforcement doing, because we have around 200 to 300 children out here, so I want to make sure that law enforcement is doing the right thing.
Speaking of that letter that the property manager sent to the residents of the apartments, it basically says there's a 10 p.m. curfew, keep a good eye on your kids, and if you see anything suspicious going on, report it to the authorities immediately.
Just be extremely careful. You got to dot our I's and cross our T's at all times in a situation like this, and be aware and be alert at all times.
With all of the information about this whole case that we know of right now, I don't even know what to think. When I first heard it, I thought it was just one person in the woods that was probably a pervert or a pedophile. Then you had eyewitnesses say there was more than one person, there was 2, and there was 3, and then it was happening at all hours of the night. And then I'm like, well, maybe it's a prank if there's more than one person involved. Maybe it's somebody's sick, twisted prank to scare the shit out of people, But then you have chains being banged against doors in the middle of the night, and you have more than 30 kids seeing it, and this has been happening on and off for weeks. I honestly think that this is not going to end very good for either A, the people living in these apartments, or B, more than likely, the people dressed up like clowns. I have no idea what their end game is. I don't know if it's a prank. I don't know if it's genuine, insidious nature. I don't know what it is. All I know is that in a few days, or even a few weeks, we're going to hear news of how one of these people dressed like a clown either A, got the shit beat out of him, or B, got shot. Regardless, I will make updates to the story once we get more information in the future. Like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and you are allowed to subscribe. As always, thank you for watching, and there'll be more content to come.